here, you know YC grow a leg come finals time. So we look forward to it.
Hopefully well, mate. I don't know, it depends on the day. We're halfway there, so see what happens.
They're a good team. We really respect them. There's some good battles through the year with them.
You know, who knows, we can get them, mate, if we're up and about and we're really on song. I think we can get them, yeah. But I think we can get anybody, so yeah. To finish the season off the way we did, it's really encouraging.
I think we showed ourselves, you know, how to beat them and how to score against them.
Show the rest of the league what we can do.
I think I've got it sorted how we can build a game plan to beat them.
It's finals time. Get your game face on.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GameFace Division 1 Footy Show. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two hosts tonight. First of all, he's a man that's been around the tracks for many, many years. You all know him. It's Chris, the whole Burt Reynolds. Hold it, on you go, Chris. And our big cheer, and last but not least, our host for the night, Dan the Man Lawyer.
Thanks, Coach. Great to be here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for having us tonight at the Frankston RSL. We thank the Frankston RSL for having us here for the First Division Grand Final Footy Show, and we're looking forward to a big night. And yes, Chris, nice to have you with us. And you do look like Burt Reynolds. You may also look like other types of movie stars as well, but you've shaved the beard off. You've just got the moustache. Now, I believe you've got the moustache because of the great late Burt Reynolds who died on the weekend.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw it out to him. He was a great man, and he was very impressive in my eyes, he was, both on and off the screen. But, you know, he was fantastic, and it's great to be here. Really good to be here. I'm excited about this week.
Favourite Burt Reynolds movie?
I was going to say
Smokey and the Bandit?
Yeah, I know, that's a classic, but Boogie Nights was pretty good.
Yeah, Boogie Nights was fantastic. Well, it's great to be here. We're looking forward to what should be a wonderful weekend of footy. We must firstly thank our sponsors, and without them, it wouldn't be possible. Austin and Tanya Phillips from Ray White Langwarren are here tonight. Thanks very much for their company and their support throughout the season. Bart from HenCon, St Andrews Brewery, and of course our host tonight, Frankston RSL. What a venue this is. First time I've been here, Chris. It is unbelievable.
I've been to a few good places this year, mate. Kicked it off with the St Andrews Brewery, which obviously you couldn't find, which is why we've employed a driver now for you.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you found Frankston RSL.
Well, I did find it, but it just took me a lot longer than expected.
That was ridiculous.
It is great down there. We've got some raffles regarding the St Andrews Brewery a little bit later on, but we'll get to that very, very shortly. Let's start with some footy, and also with our guests tonight. We've got a lot of guests here tonight, and it's wonderful to see so many guests from all the teams involved in the footy on the weekend, whether it be Frankston YCW or, of course, Mount Eliza in the under-19s, whether it be Mount Eliza and Edith Vale Aspendale in the reserves, or whether it be the big one where we've got two teams who, frankly, don't like each other at all, Sorrento and Pines. But there's a couple of elephants in the room. No, Tony Blackwood, I believe he's gone fishing this weekend.
No, he was crook.
He's crook?
Yeah, no, he said to me it was gastro, so he definitely had the shits.
Oh, did he? Very good. You idiot. The shits about what?
I didn't do that in rehearsal.
No, I like it. I like it. Very spontaneous. He's got the shits about what?
Oh, look, he fails to bury the hatchet. I think he's taken a little bit to get over this one, but he'll be right, Tone. It's been a great year with Tone. So
yeah, we'll have him back next year. I mean, hopefully he's buried the hatchet by then. And the other elephant in the room, and Coach mentioned it a little bit earlier, is that there is no, at this stage, captain of the Pines Football Club in Bo Hendry. There's no playing coach of the Sorrento Football Club in Luke Tapscott. We hope to have a decision a little bit later on because they're at the tribunal, I believe, Chris.
They are. It's an interesting one. It just adds fuel to the fire. I love it. It's like reeling back to 1980s when just clubs hated each other's guts. I mean, we've had this princess run with YC and Bizer over there, and they've just had their pretty way and playing that nice out footy, and everyone gets along okay. It's not going to be like that on Sunday. I love it. It's great.
Well, I've been told that, and I'm a newbie obviously to this competition, it's wonderful being here this year, that this is a grand final that has had a different build-up to all the others. I mean, congratulations to IC, what they've achieved over the years. But you've got two teams, as I said a bit earlier, who are not very fond of each other, hence why they're at the tribunal
Not
tonight.
very fond.
No, well, it is. I'm being nice though. Remember, well, basically they hate each other, don't they?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pines haven't won a premiership for a long time, and they of course had a bit of unrest in the off-season. And Paddy Swain stayed as coach and has done an unbelievably good job at that football club. The second half of the year has been almost perfect. Sorrento, what a magnificent year they had last year. There goes my phone again.
Not again.
My phone rings every single week. It's the boss probably telling me to shut up. But there you go. Thanks, Dean. Yeah, I think for 7 weeks in a row my phone has rung.
You think you would
every single week when I've been on doing a footy show. I wish people would stop ringing me. It's tough being popular though. But yeah, look, it is a wonderful build-up, isn't it, to what should be a great grand final. Full credit to Mount Eliza last week, but I think we've got the best two teams in the First Division grand final.
I said last week when I had my tips that I was leaning towards Sorrento only for a purely selfish point of view, because I really wanted to see what was going to happen Sunday. So 4 days or 5 days to go until we get that, and I think it's a great result. Even like yesterday in the shop that I've got at Mornington, people are coming in and they're actually not Pines people, they're not Sorrento people, but they're going to go down, they're going to have a look and they want to see a bit of action, and that's what it's all about.
What did you make of the Second Division grand final? If we get a grand final like that in First Division, I think we'll be pretty happy. Big crowd there on Saturday.
Yep.
They ran out of beer around the Brian Mace side of the ground. I think they're okay around the social club side of the ground. I saw you having a couple of quiet ones in that last quarter, which was a magnificent last quarter. Two really good teams that struggle to kick goals to the beach end. I wonder if we'll get similar sort of conditions for the grand final on Sunday, with one end dominating.
It always tends to go that way, but just quickly on Div 2, Red Hill and Dramana, they really deserve to be there. They were the two best sides all year and would have made a strong case for Division 1. I think the better side for the year 1 on the day, and they'll hold themselves in great regard next year when they get up to Division 1. They probably need a little bit more top-end talent. They probably need to get 1 or 2 more in the recruiting side of things to be really competitive, and probably just see how they go under real extreme pressure, which is what Division 1 has been all year. If they can do that, then they might push for a final, but at the moment, like just taking that side up, I think they'd be probably missing finals, but not on that bottom tier.
What about Red Hill?
Red Hill were fantastic. I love their second quarter. John O'Ross was amazing in that second quarter. They really look like they're going to stick it to them. Jemana fought back, but they've had a great year as well, coming from where they did. They've got a decent coach this year, which is fantastic. But he's not here. So
no, we can never crack at him as much as we like. Yeah, they only finished 5th 4 years in a row.
Wow, that's why they got rid of him. So that's correct. Someone in. But anyway, he did a great job with Red Hill, and they're going to be really hard to beat next year. Really hard to beat.
Well, I thought Jonah Simpson was outstanding in the last quarter. When Dramana was trying to finish them off, he just kept intercepting, but they just couldn't get the connection right inside 50, could they?
No, and that's the thing. Like with Div 1, you've got that top end talent that can really pull the side over the line. They didn't have that. I think probably got Irving, but probably they haven't got that one to drag them over the line, like say an Edwards or Gauls or something like that.
Lots of guests tonight. We'll have representatives from the Under-19 Grand Final very shortly between Frankston YCW and top team Mount Eliza, who've dominated. They probably would hate me saying that considering what happened to Red Hill in the Under-19s last week, but basically it was a lack of football for them because their last 2 matches in the Under-19s home and away season was disappointing in that they didn't get a lot of match practice, because in one match Devon Meadows pulled out Hastings, I think only fielded 15 players, and then they had a break. Then they played the second semi and won that. They had another break and they just were a bit flat. So when you are warm favourites like that and you've been undefeated all season, it makes life a bit tough, doesn't it, when you don't play enough football?
Well, I think we've seen this year, even in the final series, and I've mentioned it with Pines a couple of times so far, you've got teams that are so close together, it comes down to the mental attitude on the day. And Kringle were obviously up for it a lot harder than what Red Hill were on the weekend. And I said the same thing about Pines when they played Mount Eliza in that first contest at Mornington, when they played Sorrento in that second contest at Mornington. They wanted the ball more, and they got the result, and that's what happened at Kringle.
So lots of guests tonight from all teams involved, and we look forward to chatting to them all and just getting their view, how they're feeling with the grand final. Just a few days away, and we hope it's going to be an outstanding affair in the under-19s, the reserves, and also seniors at Frankston Park to win the Mornington Peninsula Football League for season 2018. Lots to get through. Back in a second with the under-19 preview. The big match between Frankston YCW and also Mount Eliza on the GameFace Footy Show.
St Andrews Brewery, using the finest ingredients, ensuring each beer is full of flavour and character.
Frankston RSL, Frankston's function and restaurant specialist.
Welcome back to the GameFace Footy Show. This is the grand final edition for Division 1 live from the Frankston RSL. We thank the Frankston RSL for having us here tonight. Let's look at the under-19s. Well, Mount Eliza have been the team to beat all year. They had a comfortable path through to the grand final with a win in the second semi. It's been a little bit harder for YCW. It was a cracking match last Sunday, tight match all day. They got on top in the second quarter. The Stone Cats to lead by 22 points. Edithvale Aspendale had cut that advantage to 5 at three-quarter time, and with Josh O'Toole having an unbelievable final series, another 7-goal haul, 18 goals in 3 finals, the Stone Cats live to fight another day, the very strong football club, into the grand final. We welcome the assistant coach for Mount Eliza in Shane Foss, also their captain Aidan Smith. Welcome, gentlemen, good to have you with us. And Frankston YCW's coach Peter Felson, and also their captain Henry Ryan. Welcome, boys, good to have you with us as well. Peter, I'll start with you. If Josh O'Toole wasn't there, would you be sitting here tonight with the greatest respect to the rest of the team?
Well, it's a bit hypothetical, and we don't really want to hypotheticals, do we?
We don't, but...
Well, you know, we've been with our players all year, we've made it this far, so we don't put it down to any individuals.
It's been a good performance, hasn't it? I mean, considering you've had issues with injuries, missing players, you must be alive with what the team's achieved. Even, of course, you've still got one big game to go.
Yeah, we've been up against it from probably since about round 7. I think we've had 3 games where we've had 22 players. Most games 18 or 19. I think at one game we had 14 fit players. So it's been a bit of a struggle, and the resilience the boys have shown has been fantastic.
I think that under 19s, so because you've taken it up that extra year from 18s to 19s, is so close to senior football. I think all the under 19s, and we'll talk about that as well with you, getting that lift up to play senior football as a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old, which you can do on the bit, it takes it away from that 19s competition, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I've speaking to the other coaches, and I've made my thoughts known to AFL South East as well, that it really is a struggle. Kids who want to go and play at under 19 level want to play senior footy. They've finished school, they're working and stuff, so they're finding it hard to get to training, finding it hard to get to games on Saturdays if they've got apprenticeships and have to work. Whereas when I was under 18, so I was still at school, they hadn't got their licences yet, and it all sort of matched up pretty well.
Same with you guys. It'll be the same, and to you even to a more extent, you've got a lot in the TAC system, you've got a lot in your senior program, you've got probably some private school football as well through there. It's a difficult job for you guys as well, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. We've got a number of players that are playing senior footy from the 19s each week, and we've got a bit of a development program that we like to think that we'd like to give them some exposure to senior football. So it has stretched us at some points during the season where we've relied on some 17s to play some football with us as well.
You also rely too, Shane, on a number of 17s to play senior footy as well. It's been something that the club has introduced this year. It's been a real strategy to try and play as many young players as possible, hasn't it?
No, that's correct. Troy Shannon's been very good at exposing some of our youth to senior football and preparing them for what they to look forward to in the future.
He's been good at exposing himself too over the years.
True.
Hey?
Sure.
Is he? Yeah. Don't worry, he's not unaccustomed to that, mate.
Thank you for that. A very reputable human being, and you just brought up some of his...
Oh, come on, if you had seen him play, you wouldn't be saying reputable.
Well, you can talk. I mean, didn't you...
You really broke me jaw at Mornington one day.
Just as we're off topic here, didn't you... Is this truth or myth?
This is going to go somewhere.
On an overseas trip, when you were drafted by Hawthorn over 20 years ago, a bloke who I liked, who came as a 26-year-old from Western Australia called Craig Trelevin, is it true that you shaved his eyebrows off when he was asleep?
Yes, I shaved his eyebrows off when he was asleep. And he proceeded to throw a mirror out of the 13th floor in an LA hotel, and we got arrested. Yeah, but that was the time of the papers and stuff, so we got away with it.
You got away with it?
Yeah.
So you actually went down to the police station?
Yeah, we got cuffed.
You got
Well,
cups?
that's another story, mate. Let's get on with this one.
Yeah, but you've just had a go at Troy Shannon, and I'm just bringing up your character as well.
Okay, well, mine's abysmal, so just keep moving.
Yeah, we'll do that. Now, if I can ask Henry a question. As the captain of the team, how proud were you of the boys last week in finding a way? You were 22 points up at half-time, as I mentioned, and EDS were coming. How were you able to find a way to get over the line, you think?
Well, especially from my point of view on the weekend, I wasn't actually in the playing 22. During the week at training, I injured my shoulder, and unfortunately I wasn't able to play on Sunday's game. But watching from the sideline really was, super empowering. Watching the boys play the footy, they were so proud of all and the way they went about it. Didn't let anything get to them. I think just their drive to get further and further in this final series really is what got them over the line, and obviously all the work we've been doing throughout the year got them to where they are now and where we are now, and I think that's what won us the game on the weekend.
Good to see the Sorrento boys here too. It was 7 o'clock start, boys, but thanks for coming. We'll attend you a little bit later on. So, are you going to play this week, Henry?
We're not too sure yet. Still getting kind of assessed throughout the week in regards to all my fitness and everything like that, but yeah, hopefully by the time Sunday rolls around I'll be fit to play, but if not, I'm not going to take someone's spot for someone to pick up in the first 5 minutes.
And Aidan Smith, as captain of Mount Eliza, what did you and the rest of your teammates learn from what happened to Red Hill, considering you're red-hot favourites to win the Under-19 Premiership? They were red-hot favourites to win the Under-19 Second Division Premiership and had a bad game. How do you ensure it doesn't happen to your team?
Yeah, well, that just goes to show that even when you're on top, and we had a good season, that we're still beatable. It's like the seniors, this top division for us 19s, it's still so tight, and any day we know that we'll have to be playing our best footy to be able to get the win.
How's the playing group when you have, because you've had so many kids go up and play senior football this year, is it a case of you're happy for them to go up, or they're taken away from your football side?
Yeah, well, you get a bit of that. Like our captain, Bailey Green, at the start of the year,
he's a cracker, isn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was playing pretty good footy, so we didn't have him, but obviously he's stoked for the boys. That's what you play footy for. You go into the senior club to get as far as you can, and so obviously all the boys were happy and getting around everyone when the opportunity came.
And Shane, what do you need to do to beat YCW, and how impressed were you with them last weekend?
We were very impressed. Paul and I took the opportunity to have a look at the game on Sunday. Really impressed with the way YC structured up around the stoppages. Their spread and run ball carry was exceptional. So we're going to have to play some really good footy on the weekend to be competitive.
What about you, Peter? How do you beat this strong Mount Eliza team?
I don't know, hopefully they turn up with 16 maybe.
It's a good start.
Obviously we'll have our plans in place. Finals is different footy and maybe a bit of pressure early on, and we can, if we can stay with them for a quarter or two and it starts playing on their head, that might be something that will work for us. But we'll take it as we go. We've still got plenty of permutations with selection and that before Sunday comes.
The fact that both teams have had plenty of success, we'll get an answer from both camps here and played in grand finals before. How much does that help or assist in preparation for the weekend?
Well, I think every final series is different. I think now, especially at under 19s level, but we do obviously have, or both sides have players that played off last year, and you learn from that. So I'd say it's probably one reason maybe why we were able to get over Edithvale last week, just having that extra bit of experience in finals.
What about you, Shane?
We've got a number of players that have played in finals and grand finals, so obviously that's an advantage, knowing that what to expect on a big occasion. But both teams have had that recently, and we're coming off some good form, both of us, so I think it's going to be a cracking game.
And Aidan, if I could just ask you, the fact you've got the reserves in the grand final as well, how important has that been for club spirit this week?
Oh yeah, well the whole year our culture has been really good. Obviously all three teams on Tuesday nights, we've been training together in that culture. It's just been building all year, so to have the reserves in there as well, it just adds another level to what we can bring on Sunday.
We've got a lot of awards to get through, so I'll get Chris to go down and I'll go through these awards as we've got the GameFace Team of the Year. We've also got the leading goal kicker. So if you can head to where the coach is, and we'll also get Austin, who of course is one of our major sponsors from Ray Whiteland Warren, to come across and present those awards as well. We'll firstly start, he's a laid-back young fella from the Frankston Bombers with the Under-19 Goal Kicking Award in Kobe Villas from the Frankston Bombers to receive his award. Well done, Kobe. Still got the Ben Stratton style haircut, or the Blake Hardwick style haircut, which was in the 1980s when I was a kid. Good on you, Kobe. Congratulations. And the Best Player Award goes to Ryan Rose of Mornington, which is the GameFace Best Player Award. Well done, Ryan. Mornington, of course, having a good year, finishing 4th in the under-19s. Now we've got our Team of the Year, and if you're here, just make sure you come up and you get a magnificent brew and also a plaque for being part of the GameFace Under-19 Team of the Year as chosen by Josh Moore. And I'll go through this team. The coach is not here tonight, but someone, maybe his son Luca, who's here tonight. We wish Luca all the best in his endeavours for the Dandenong Stingrays on the weekend. Want to have a round of applause for Luca Goonan, ladies and gentlemen. Big game for them in the prelim final. Looking to make a grand final or maybe win their first flag in the TAC Cup. We know how many final series that the Stingrays have been in, but as Mark Wheeler, their regional manager, said to me today, it's all about trying to blood as many players as possible and get as many players drafted. But the coach of the team, Paul Goonan from Mount Eliza. The captain of the team, Josh Beringer from Frankston YCW. Well done, Josh. The back line, Elliot Simmons, Mount Eliza. Aaron Ingram, Bond Beach. Aidan Smith from Mount Eliza. The half-back line, Josh Harris Rosebud, Andrew Kelly from Frankston YCW, and Isaac Nippard from Seaford. The centre line, Brandon Lewis Pines, Kurt Field, Mount Eliza, Luca Goonan, Mount Eliza. The half-forward line, Lachlan Gorka Mornington, Josh O'Toole from Frankston YCW, as mentioned, kicked 18 goals in 3 finals matches so far. Kyle Jacobson from Pines. The forward line, Bailey Breen, Mount Eliza, even though he's played a lot of senior footy this year. Kobe Villas from Frankston Bombers. Sam Hart, who's had a good year up forward from Edithvale, Aspendale. The ruck division, Max Morney, Mount Eliza. Tom Small, Mount Eliza. And the rover, Josh Beringer, the captain, who's already got his. And the interchange players, Lachlan Avery, Frankston Bombers. Ben Ward, Edithvale, Aspendale. Joel Nichols, Pines, and Zach O'Neill, Edithvale, Aspendale. There is the GameFace Under-19 Team of the Year. Well done to all the players. What do you reckon, Peter? It's a pretty good team, isn't it?
Yeah, if I could have that slide on Sunday, we might
be happy with that. What about you, Shane? You'd be happy with that?
Fantastic team. Fantastic team.
Yeah, it certainly is. So, well done to all those boys, and we thank our guests tonight, Shane Foss, the assistant coach, and Aidan Smith, the captain of Mount Eliza. We wish Mount Eliza all the best in their endeavours to win the flag this year. And Frankston YCW, their coach, Peter Felson, first-year coach, and Henry Bryan, the captain. Well done, guys, and may the best team win. What should be a cracking under-19 grand final.
Are you going to sit there, or are you going to sit on the fence?
No, I'm going to sit on the fence. Sorry, Peter, I just think Mount Eliza might be a little bit too solid, but I'm happy to be proven wrong as a South and am.
Yeah,
I couldn't tip my hat. What about you?
Oh, yes, mate. Yeah, no, I think the Mount Eliza boys just.
Very good.
Thanks.
All right. Well, let's get into the raffle, and we've got to draw our first 6-pack, and Austin's going to do that for us.
We'll get Austin to do it then.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Make sure, of course, we'll be presenting these prizes at the end of the night.
It's Black D25.
Black D25.
Does anybody come up? Black D25. Okay. If you can come up, we'll grab your name, and we can give it to you a little bit later on. Of course, it's a 6-pack from St Andrews Beach Brewery, and it's all yours. Okay, then, back to you.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks again to the Under-19s. Good luck on the weekend, and we'll be back shortly with more on the GameFace Footy Show, live from the Frankston RSL. We'll look at the reserves. Should be a ripping game between Edithvale, Aspendale and Mount Eliza. That's next on the GameFace Footy Show, Division 1 Grand Final Edition.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You First Real Estate. Call 5925 9278 or visit youfirstrealestate.com.au. Hi,
I'm Austin Phillips. Look, if you are thinking of buying or selling and you want a great experience, you want world-class service, I'd like to catch up for a cuppa and do some business with you.
Welcome back to the GameFace Footy Show. It's the grand final edition for the Division 1. Great to be here, Dan Lonigan and Chris Holcomb with you. It's time to look at the reserves, and this should be a cracker in the words of Chris Holcomb. Yeah, I'm really excited by this. Edith Val Aspendale against Mount Eliza. Edie Asp had the week off, straight into the grand final after winning the second semi, and even though I wasn't there, I remember the man to my left, Mark, being very, very emotional, almost as emotional as he was on his wedding day when his team got into the grand final, how important it was to his footy club. But it's wonderful to have, of course, the coach of the Edith Val Aspendale Reserves team, Mark Fitcher, the captain, Daniel McCarthy, and they're going for 5 flags in a row. No pressure on them from Mount Eliza. Their coach, Nathan Clayton, after they got into the grand final with a great win over a very gallant Sorrento, and their captain, Sam Howe. Welcome our guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have them with us. Mark, I'll start with you. Did you have tears in your eyes? You were addressing your boys after you got them into the grand final?
Of course you did. Yeah, look, it was a pretty emotional day. It was. We knew it was going to be tough. Sorry, buddy.
You're all right.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty emotional day. We knew it was going to be tough, and we knew the opportunity that we had at the end of the game if we got over the line, mate. So I do get a bit emotional. Like the guys have played under me for a few years now, know that I get a bit emotional, but that's water off the ducks back to them now, mate. They're sort of used to me carrying on like a pork chop, I suppose, yeah.
But the job's obviously not done yet.
No, not saying
that. You're obviously very emotional. How then do you change your emotions from this is unbelievable to get there, but we've still got a lot of work to do?
Yeah. No, the boys, we sort of come Tuesday night last week, we sort of reset training again. We went down for a swim, went out for dinner, sort of got everyone in the right frame of mind again to really prepare for, obviously, what was going to be 2 weeks' time from then. We had pretty much a light run on the track on the Thursday night from then. And then from last Saturday morning, we had a really good hit out last Saturday morning with the full squad, and the beauty of it, some senior players came down and trained with us as well. So, yeah, it was pretty easy to reset the group. They're a pretty mature group, my boys, for a group of young fellas. So yeah.
You've had nearly 50 blokes playing in the twos this year at NFL. How's the squad looking? What do you have to trim that back? Is there a few hard conversations, mate?
Look, there always is, mate. Yeah, look, we probably back down to about 32 now that are really available to play on Sunday. Yeah, so look, the beauty of it is the guys that haven't been playing. To a man, they haven't missed the training session. Yeah. I communicate with them all hopefully heavily enough, mate, so they know where they're at and what's going on. Look, we've been fortunate we haven't really had to make a change. For the first 2 finals, I beg your pardon, the first final we had Darcy Walk, Campbell Ack and Billy Favell all overqualify, played too many games in the one. So the 3 guys that are actually brought into the team from that would start in any twos team in the competition. One of them won our twos best and fairest a couple of years ago. So they come in and did the job. They'd been away or, for other reasons weren't in the team. They come in and filled their spot, and as I said, we've probably got about another 8 to go, ready to go. So yeah, it's a few tough decisions to make, but it's what it is.
You'll be right.
Nathan Clayton, good to have you with us. Microphone's right there. You'll need to talk into that if you can. Thanks, mate. 5, that's right. 5 grand finals in a row. You're feeling pressure that you've got to keep the legacy going?
No, not really. For me, it's sort of my first year coaching at any level, so we've just sort of treated it as a new year, and a lot of those guys that were part of that sort of four-peat, if you like, there's probably only a handful of them left. Sammy to the right's one of them, and we just treated it pretty much on its merits this year, and a new group, and doesn't really come into our thoughts too much, Dan.
Well, you've got the playing coach from the previous 4 there as well. How much has he helped you?
I enjoyed the interview with him, and the boys had a bit of a laugh at that one. So, mate, he's been good. We made him earn it early days, and he wasn't guaranteed a game, and but he's been good as the year's gone on, and that experience and that he can offer to young guys has been invaluable, I think. So,
how old is he now?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, well, pretty similar.
Thanks very much. I don't think he's 50. I'm 50 in January, so if he's 50, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's young brother's age, so maybe a couple 36.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
So with the final obviously at Mornington, I reckon you guys would have gone favourites going into it. Are you going to use a small deck as an excuse and think that just because you get out on Frankston Park that it's going to start just happening for you? You reckon that that's where you've got your advantage?
Couldn't be any further from what we're thinking about, mate. We got beaten by a better team a couple of weeks ago.
Good response.
Yeah, it was a bit of a kick up the backside we needed to get ourselves in order, and yeah, we had a pretty strong response last week, and we know what it takes and what the level we need to be at now. So
no ammunition there, Fish.
No, I beg your pardon. Sorry, I gave
no ammunition there. He couldn't take anything out of that. He was giving you the utmost respect.
No, look, oh mate, I know Nate pretty well. We both respect each other's footy teams, and we're going to carry on with all that crap, mate. Look, it is what it is. Like, you know, we both feel the same way. We both want to win the game, so we're going to say what we're going to say.
It's a lot of love.
There is a lot of love in there.
Too much love. Daniel McCarthy, the captain. It's been a good year for the team in general. Your motto at Edithvale Aspendale is Flyers won. Your netball teams, 3 of them have won premierships. Your seniors made the finals, your under-19s made the finals, reserves a chance to win a premiership. Why does the team have so much success collectively, you think?
I don't know why it's come across this year, but for example, in the reserves 3 years ago, we won 3 games, and we were a pretty low-ranked team. And 2.5 years later, we're sitting in the grand final, ready to go. And these kids, there's a lot of kids that played for us 3 years ago in that 3-win team.
It's 14.
14 of them, there you go, played 3 years ago. And now we're playing off in the grand final with those 14 blokes.
And saying that too, that list that the seniors were able to develop this year and put out on the park has obviously pushed a few of those guys down as well and enabled blokes that I wouldn't have thought that were playing twos footy or definitely weren't going in 3 years ago at Edithvale are now playing twos footy and have to earn their spot to go up. So it's a good situation to be in.
That definitely helps for sure, yeah.
And with the, sorry mate,
Sure.
right there?
I'm happy as Larry.
And with the, like obviously you've got a guy like Liam Hewlett going in and he's was best on ground in that semi-final. Just on with Liam too, he's played I think 8 games now back in the twos. His attitude must be fantastic because he's come from a long way up and he's just taken it a bit between the teeth. He's gone back, he's played, he hasn't hooked up, and he looks like he's really enjoying his footy, which must be great for you guys.
Yeah, it's great for us. He loves his footy. Yeah. I know he'd love to play ones, but he loves this bunch of blokes.
Yeah.
So we love having him play for us. So yeah. Very handy to kick to, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you've been around a long time, Sam, as the captain of this side. It's your opportunity, as Nathan said, to win your 5th flag in a row. What would it mean to you to win 5 in a row? It must be like shelling peas being in the grand final.
This will only be my 2nd one, mate. I came back to footy last year, so...
Just claim it.
Yeah, I need to do my homework, sorry about that. But, I mean, you've played in one already. I mean, to play in back-to-back and to keep going to the well, though, this side, why are they so good at it?
I don't know. I think it's all the young blokes coming up through the ranks. Like, there's just so much depth going through the club, and all these blokes coming up. It's just, it's just crazy.
And do you think you needed the run after you lost the second semi to...
Yeah, it was good to get out on Franklin Park last week and get over Sorrento, so it was nice to get out there and have a run.
What's wrong with Mornington? The police places sort of Mornington. It's alright. Yeah, especially when you get a bit older and you can't run that fast and you can sort of cut off the ground.
Yeah, mate, it's got me stuffed while they played the final.
Oh, come on. It was record crowds, that's why.
And I need to ask you, Nathan, about the seniors. I thought that it was an outstanding performance by a very, very young team. Do you think the seniors might have overachieved slightly?
It's probably a bit hard to say. I thought, Sorrento obviously the best team all year, and Pines have been probably the best team in the back half of the year. And I think for us, we come along a long way. I don't think many people probably rated us too highly at the start of the year. So to finish, end up 3rd, and in the end probably pushed Sorrento pretty hard. They had a really good 3rd quarter, and they've done that to us a couple of times this year. And full credit to them, their bigger bodies and more experienced guys got hold of us. But we fought it out, and as I probably said in that pre-game, losing Big 10-0 early on didn't help. And so I think this is we actually watched that final down on the boundary and saw Pokey and the boys getting into the injuries, and we can't wait. So it's going to be good to watch.
You'd get a few back from that side, wouldn't you, mate? Obviously.
Yeah, about 12 or something. I don't know. I've got a few options, but nah.
He's only joking.
I'll go through it, mate. I know.
Mate, he knows everything. He's open up his phone.
Oh, he's a weapon.
Stats on us like
nothing else. He's all over it.
He knows it's better than we do.
And Mark, if you happen to win the flag, and I know I'm putting the car on the horse yet, what sort of speech are we going to get from you?
Don't answer. Oh, mate, I've got absolutely no. I don't even know what to say before round 2. Yeah, look, we'll deal with that when we deal with it. But I'll talk a lot, so I could say that.
Very good. Well, boys, we wish you all the best. These two teams have been outstanding in the reserves this year, as well as Brindale and Mount Eliza. They deserve to be in the grand final. I thought Sorrento's effort, considering, Chris, they had 8 players apparently at their first training session this year in the reserves, that they got to a preliminary final, deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful effort by Dion Phillips and the boys to get as far as they did. But at the end of the day, Mount Eliza been superb. Been superb as well. We wish them all the best. Well done, boys, and enjoy the game on the weekend. May the best team win. Good on you, Mark. Good on you, Daniel. And good to have Nathan as well, and Sam from the Mount Eliza footy team. We've got reserves awards, just a couple of reserves awards. The goal kicking, Michael Chaplin from Frankston YCW has been outstanding again for the Stone Cats. And also the best player for the GameFace Awards this year, Jacob Beggs of Pines. A round of applause for those two gentlemen. Well done, guys. Thanks very much again, gentlemen, as we also have our raffle for our next lot of 6-pack from, of course, the Anderson St Andrews Beach Brewery. Good luck, mate. And remember, we'll give you that award later in the day. Thanks, guys. Good luck. Great entertainment from the boys from Mount Eliza and EDS as they'll get their game face on and get ready, of course, for the grand final. I was told to come up. Oh, good on you. We've got Austin joining us as well. Oh. And Austin Phillips from Ray Whiteling. Well, we've got you there, Austin. We really appreciate your sponsorship with GameFace this year. How important is it to be involved, I suppose, in the local media in regard to your business?
Very, very important, because I've been in the area 33 years, so it's very important for me to ground roots. And most of the people here know my children. They went to school around here. My wife still with me for 33 years, which is impressive. So, no, it's really, really good. It's the first time I've been on board, and looking forward to doing it for quite a few years.
Excellent. Okay, well, you better tell us who's won the next 6-pack from St Andrews Beach Brewery.
Yeah. So we've got a Red D3.
Red D3. Come and see the coach, and you'll get your prize at the end of the night.
Anyone got that?
Red D3 or a redraw?
Redraw.
We're going to redraw, have we? Yeah, over here, over in the left-hand corner, YCW corner, coach. YCW corner.
YC out of it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Austin. Good to have you with us. And back shortly. We've got the big one coming up, the grand final. We can't wait. The tension's in the room. Frankston YCW and Sorrento. We'll be talking about that next on the GameFace Footy Show, Division 1 Grand Final Edition, live from the Frankston RSL. That's next.
Low Farms, the Australian grower and supplier of rocket, lettuce, spinach and salad mixes. Pencon Garden Supplies and Mini Mix Concrete is a family-owned business that has served the Mornington Peninsula magnificently for more than 50 years. For all your garden and building supplies, concrete, soil, sand and mulch, visit Bart and the team at 58 Peninsula Avenue Rye or call 5985 2252 or 5985 2998.
Wonderful to be here at the Frankston RSL, and it's been a massive build-up. There's no doubt that Sorrento have been the best team all year. They've been outstanding, and there's no doubt in the back end of the year,
I'll give you
the Pines. I said Frankston YCW before and got pulled up by Lee Paholke. No doubt Frankston YCW would like to be in another grand final, but it's the Pines' turn this year because they played superb football in the back end of the season. Very good in the qualifying final, superb in a great game of footy where there was no holds bar in the second semi. And of course we've got a bit of a tribunal hearing. We hope we might get a result very soon from that.
And we look forward to the guys we've got on our panel here, Chris, their reaction to that. We welcome the coach of the Pines Football Club, who's done a superb job, Paddy Swain. We also welcome their star centre half forward, who's driven from one end of Melbourne to another. He's driven from South Marine all the way down here to Frankston tonight. Mind you, the coach and I have come from East Kew, so we've done pretty well to get here too. Tim Bongetti, and we welcome a couple of guys who are a bit late, but they weren't that far away from Sorrento, Lee Paholke and James Hallahan. Warm round of applause for our guests who will be part of the big show, the grand final at Frankston Park on Saturday afternoon. Paddy, I'll start with you. Do you feel vindicated with what the team has achieved after it looked like your position as coach was in jeopardy at the start of the year?
It's a big word there, vindicated.
Just a nice soft question.
It's broken me brain actually. I was a school teacher, but I wasn't quite sure what vindicated meant. But short answer, probably not. It's we just went. Like, I think that was sort of done and dusted pretty much the next day. We moved on pretty quick, and I just went about the pre-season as per usual, the season as per usual, and haven't really given that a second thought.
But at the time, you must have been disappointed, considering that the team was going okay and the players were certainly in your corner.
At the time, I was pretty calm actually. Even my wife says there was a big storm going on around you, and you were just this calm thing in the middle. And I guess from that point of view was because as a coach, and all the other coaches in the room will know this, that we make decisions on players every week. We put players in or out of the side every week. So as a coach, you've got to be prepared that there's going to be a time that you're going to get tapped on the shoulder and said, mate, your services aren't required anymore. So I was quite calm with that. But as things panned out and the playing group rallied and that sort of thing, and we sorted it out and look where we are now.
Right, yeah, I'm excited. I said last week that I was barracking for these blokes over Mount Lions because I wanted to see this rematch. To an extent, like we were sitting there on the sidelines going, you know what, I wouldn't mind having another crack and just seeing what's going to happen in this second round.
From a
not from a political point of view,
from a local lover of footy's point of view, I think the feedback that we all got, and I'm sure the Sorrento boys got from the game against the second semi-finals or against each other, was I got told it was probably the best game of local footy a lot of people have ever seen. Even a guy today came at work and said, "Oh, you're a coach of Pines," and I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that game." He said, "Mate, I had a mate who went to it, and he was saying that you'd hear the clash of bodies, the whole game." And I think that's probably testament to Mornington, the velodrome there, right? And it makes it sound better than what it was. But
you lost the gradient.
Anyway, I've said that. But yeah, look, I think from that point of view, from a local lover of footy, I think it's going to be a really good grand final.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had a build-up like this. We've had these boring pricks at YC win it every year for the last 8
months. Nice. They can only do what they can do.
Who knows fucking around, mate? It's alright, calm down. I know you're a freshie, but it's alright. But
thanks.
To see two sides going at it with some passion is going to be great.
Now, James, you also had a change of coach at the start of the year. That obviously proved to be a seamless transition. Were you a bit worried going into the start of the year that it might affect the way the team played?
Wasn't worried to start, but after round one, I think we got back by 70 points. There were questions asked from everyone, coach down to players, committee, but look, the way we rallied around Tappy and obviously the results we've had since have proved that it's a pretty good decision.
Do you think that you'll be playing against Bowen Henry on the weekend?
No idea. It's for them to decide. It's got nothing to do with us.
What do you think, Paddy? Will you have Bowen in your team?
I think he'll play. I'm actually probably near positive he'll play. Just for the fact that I think a bloke who's played 12 years of senior football, been starved of success, he's part and soul of the football club. To miss a grand final for that would be shattering for not only him but for the family and for our footy club. So I think wise heads will prevail. I think he'll get the nod.
Do you think it was deliberate, or as my son would say, accidental by purpose when he was a younger boy?
Nah, not at all.
What do you think, Lee? Or am I throwing fuel to fire by...
This is not the tribunal though, is it?
No, I'm just asking a question. I mean, it is a bit of a disruption for the grand final, is it not?
Not for us.
Definitely not. But do you think that Luke Tapscott has justification to take it to the tribunal, and why do you think he has justification? I'll ask the question in a more simplistic way. I mean, obviously you do because you support your coach, but why do you think
he deserves to be justified for taking this to the tribunal.
Who lags blokes in?
I think it was on the radio, mate. If you were watching the TV, it was clearly replayed 2 or 3 times and stated.
Let's just concentrate on those on the panel. Thanks, Mark. We'll come back to it later. But
do you want to come up?
just answer the question.
Well, it was on the radio. The league had full view, knowledge of it, independent investigator. So I'm not sure what we can do.
Can I put my 2 cents in?
You can, Tim, of course you can. You two are going to come up against each other, of course, in the No Regrets Boxing Challenge. You do like each other a lot, don't you?
Hey, there's no hard feelings. Game of football is a game of football. At the end of the day, we all sit up here, we're men, whatever. But I believe a game of football, if you look at every second, minute that was played in that game, I reckon there were more situations in that game that could have been viewed. That's all I've got to say. There's one incident in a game of football where if you went back, there'd be plenty of blokes that would go, there were other altercations, other situations in that game that could be viewed at by the tribunal, but won't.
You're 100% right. We can sit on this topic for 20 minutes and it wouldn't matter. Like that contest, it was just spot fire after spot fire, hard contest after hard contest. It was just fantastic. That small confined in Mornington made that happen. Now we get out on a fresh deck at Frankston Park. How happy are you guys to get out on the weekend at Frankston Park and have a run around?
Yeah, pretty happy. Big deck. We've had plenty of fun out there. Yeah, except for round 1. So we actually went there with bad memories. But yeah, to get on a big deck, the showpiece ground, you know, we've had a lot of good memories there, as a lot of other clubs have. So, but Mornington was an awesome spectacle, and I echo Paddy's saying there that, you know, the amount of people that we spoke to, Sorrento people, older guys, just said it was one of the best games of footy they've ever seen. Now, that's a good ground to watch at, but get it out of the Frankston Park, and I think we'll get the same thing.
As Lee told me, Jones, their pressure, front pressure was enormous. How do you cope with that better this time around?
We probably just got to be better using the ball and get it on the outside. Mornington, small deck. Their pressure was able to bottle us up. There was a bit of a breeze as well, so we don't know what we're going to get Sunday in terms of conditions, but a big deck, we've just got to play our game, get it on the outside.
Lee, tell us what happened at 3/4 time in your slight confrontation, I'll say slight confrontation, which Coach caught on camera with the runner of Mount Elias. Was that just the typical Leaper Hulky theatre that you like to add to the game, which is great for the game, mind you?
No, he was just asking what I was doing after the game, and I told him we'd go back down and have a beer, and I asked him what he was going to do, and he said the same thing. So,
what about Guy Henry when you sort of ran into each other, getting closer to the Sorrento Huddle?
He said I've got a very good haircut. He's actually upset that he can't run the same thing.
Fair enough.
I think I can repeat what was actually said.
No, we don't want you to repeat this as a family show.
It was on the lines of good luck. Can't wait to see you out there.
I'm sure it was. Now, your third quarter was outstanding on Sunday. Were you worried at half time with the run of Mount Eliza? They seemed to have you on the outside of it, didn't they? But you made it more a contested game. Mitch got on top and your other big inside midfielders got on top. You turned the game in that third quarter, didn't you?
Not you, James, inside this. They're a good football club, Mount Eliza. They are an absolute powerhouse. They're super quick, they're young, they're tall, they're long. I watched the game back, and I think for large parts, apart from the third quarter, they probably dominated. Got let down across half forward a little bit, but they were very good. So we were lucky in that third quarter. Probably used the wind. Boys probably didn't share the footy as much as we should have, Mitch, in front of goal. But yeah, 1 quarter of footy. Apart from that, it was pretty even the whole day.
Just this one, just this one for Paddy. After watching that game last week with the Sorrento boys, we in Division 1 sort of play on small decks pretty much the majority of the time, so you sort of base your coaching strategy and some plans around that. Seeing it on Frankston on the weekend, is there a few things that you picked up that you do differently?
No, not really. I think if you look at, I think the Frankston's overplayed a bit. Our ground is actually area, and you know area, you're massive. Our ground is a bigger area than Frankston Park.
I'm not smart, no, I'm not that dumb.
But our ground is a bigger area than Frankston Park. We're 5 metres shorter at either end, but we're 13 metres wider. And our ground is 13 metres wide each side, so it's 26 metres right across the ground, and we're 10 metres short going up and down the ground. So it's not that much of a difference for us. actually Mornington's wider than the Frankston as well. So the Mornington ground where we've been playing is actually a wider deck than what Frankston is. So you can bring pressure to big grounds, you can bring pressure to small grounds, and that's what we've been basing our game around, and we can take it to Frankston Park.
Well, that's a highlight. That's what I found. Your first two finals, I haven't seen a side this year put as much pressure on opposition as what you guys did, and you had two opposition that weren't able to match it. So that's what I'm most intrigued about, if you can take that pressure, because for years we've talked about Pines and their bottom 10 and how they're probably let them down over to an extent. You've built that bottom 10 up now to where they are quick, they're a tackling machine, they're fit, so the pressure can go across the ground. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to this week, and whether or not you can take it out the expanses of Frankston.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, and that's just the experience of just playing together. I think look at the body sizes of our guys now, and they're a lot different than what they were probably 3 years ago, and that's just natural progression of, you know, being labourers or whatever they are, you know, just hitting the gym and that sort of thing. I think a lot of that, you know, goes to the YC Footy Club. I think YC Football Club, as you said, won a lot of grand finals in a row. Like, they've actually made our comp a stronger comp. We modelled ourselves on YC and said, well, how do we compete with Byron Barrett halfback flank when he's 80 odd kilo? That's about right, isn't it, Byron? 80 odd kilo? Yeah. How do we compete with him? So we
compliments on that.
No, it's a compliment. But we did a lot of work on trying to get the boys in the gym. I think we had 2 guys who had a gym membership 3 years ago, and now we've got 30 odd blokes who've got gym membership. So we've just got bigger bodies, and we're trying to make the most of it.
Tim, do you have a gym membership? Do you get in the gym much?
No, I just take half the Chewies. He just throws half on the way.
Well, tell us about Chewy Scanlon. I mean, he is well built, isn't he? He is a freak, isn't he? He's won 2, I mean that in a very nice way, 2 best and fairest in a row. He's 40 years old. What makes him keep going, do you think? And I mean, you have a lot to do with him because you live pretty close to each other in the northeast suburbs of Melbourne, so it's a fair trip for you. You get to know each other well.
Look, he pretty much, Paddy's been very good, and the footy coach's been very good for his preparation and for his body. He obviously plays on a Saturday, has a couple of nights off, and does his own massage, rehab and gym, which is obviously known. But for a bloke of his age to keep going around and doing what he does, when I'm 40, I'm telling you, there's absolutely no chance I'll be doing that. And I'll probably be sitting out there having a beer, so he's doing very well to keep doing what he's doing.
With you guys too, I thought your back line on the weekend was absolutely sensational. Like, you had Harris, Potter, Marston, Brigden down there. Brigo was fantastic. That's going to be huge this week, because I think the Fords got on top a little bit in that semi at Mornington, but they seem to relish the space as well down there, especially Brigo and Harris. They really look like they love to get that. If you can get that going, because you've got 2 big Fords to shut down, you get that going, I reckon you're a long way on the way to winning it.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's sort of a game of 2 halfbacks, because we really rate Pines as halfbacks and the way they can drop off, run, intercept mark. And I think that's an unheralded part to our team. You know, people look at our big forwards and our mids, but our backs are just, they week in, week out, they'll probably poll, 5 of them will be in the top 10 in our BNF. And that's, I guess, where we've won a lot of our games.
And Lee, you kicked 4 last week, you performed when you had to perform. Who do you expect to get this week? Will be your opponent?
I would presume a bloke that kept me pretty quiet at Mornington could be a good starting point. I could tell Paddy had a coach, but I reckon that's probably where it's going to go.
So you obviously have big fish to fry after you had a quiet game that day. How much did that sting? The disappointment of not playing to the level you like to play at?
No, you can't perform every week. So you move on pretty quick and you're back up to the next week and try and get a kick then. So it's, don't harp on it or worry about it too much.
How's Dawsey's rehab going?
Slowly.
Is he going to play?
I couldn't tell you. Even like you, I couldn't tell you. Dawsey's got he's got a crook calf. He's had a crook calf for 10 years. So I don't know how bad it is. I know it looked pretty bad after the game, but I couldn't tell you. He wasn't in training last night. He was getting some scans.
Would you expect him to play, Tim?
I had a calf a couple of weeks ago and I got up, so look, we go into the game with we expect our best 22 to play, and to be honest, whoever turns up at the other end of the ground will play him, no matter who plays. So if he gets up, good luck to him, but if not, then we'll see who's next in line.
And Dean Laidley will be in your coach's box this week, Paddy?
Yeah, we had a chat on the way here tonight, actually. So, yeah, he's there ready to go, and I think he wants to be the. Can I say bitch? Yeah, I just did. He wants to be the door bitch. He said, I want to make sure no one gets into the rooms that shouldn't be in the rooms, and just keep a nice, calm environment in there. So,
he'd be good at that.
You wouldn't mess with him, would you?
The junkyard dog.
The junkyard dog, yeah. No, so he'll be there. He's been great. He's been fantastic for all our coaches this year.
And Paddy, another question without notice. You're a very respected primary school teacher in the region, and you helped set up the AFL Nines program for your kids, and you had a football competition which was a treat. When you see young sports people coming through and playing sport, and you see what Serena Williams did last week, are you concerned about young sports people, girls and boys, being swayed by her behaviour, and how do you ensure that they don't go down that path?
That's a fine line, isn't it? Because I get kids who come watch me coach, and sometimes I look down and go, oh no, I just say it.
It's an emotional game, isn't it?
It is an emotional game. Yeah, I don't know. It's a footy show, mate. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know much of it. Yeah. So what did she do? I didn't even really see it.
Oh, you didn't see it. Oh, well, she just lost her.
She lost
with the chair umpire.
At the round.
The chair umpire.
That's not good. That's not good. But what I do love when you mention the kids, I love Mason DeWitt playing for Mount Liza Footy Club. He's an ex-Meridoc kid that's come through, and I love seeing those kids, start off with the Oz kick and then make their way through and play, good senior footy, play TAC footy, plays Frankston football, that sort of stuff. So that's the big buzz I get. It doesn't matter if I love them all running around in Pines jumpers, but if they're not, and they just get out and having a kick and being healthy, that's the big kick for me.
How do you guys ensure that when you have players come to your club and netballers come to your club, you've had a lot of success with the netball this year, and well done to the girls for making the 8th grade grand final, to ensure that they are doing the right thing behavioural-wise and not being influenced by, I know she's a superstar, someone like Serena Williams jump.
It's a weird question.
Did you say that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't know.
We've had a big week there. We've been focused on footy.
I've always had a message.
Well, the first is we wouldn't let him look at the polls because all he does is yell and scream and up on it, so that's not good.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
I'm the opposite. I love going to footy and seeing that stuff, seeing the emotional stuff come out. Like when I see him play footy,
but it's not good for kids.
When I see him play footy, I actually get excited to go to the footy because I know that they play with their heart on their sleeve and they have a crack and the emotions run wild. At the end of the day, you're not trying to hurt each other, you're just trying to win a game of football. That's what I love about it. I reckon it's fantastic.
It's passion.
Yeah, I love
it. You get out there, you'll play to win.
Yeah.
So if you're going out there to make friends with someone, don't play.
100%. And
don't play something else.
That's the parents' job to look after and say, look, that's not really right to do. But let them go, mate. Let them go.
So you think that that's not too bad?
Highly condone it.
Well, I disagree having a crack at the umpire.
I think he's talking about senior football, not the junior footy. And I think when you go to junior football, most of the problem is the parents, not the kids. The kids are fine.
This is the only reason that this is so built up is because of that passion with the players. So if you're taking senior football as it, that's why everyone wants to get out there Sunday and watch these two great sides rip it on, and we want to see what happens. And the thing you might go out there and you might chin wag and you might push your chest out and do all that, but at the end of the day, whoever's got the cup's going to be smiling. They don't give a rat's ass about the other stuff.
It's been a long time for Pines, Paddy and Bongo, hasn't it? I mean, it'll be a huge party, but are you slightly disappointed that the grand final's not on Saturday? There has been some criticism of the fixturing of the grand final being on the Sunday because of the fact that Monday's a school day and a work day for a lot of people.
No, it's always been a Sunday for Division 1. It's never, in my time, it's never ever been on a Saturday. So, no, I didn't even give it a second thought when I saw the fixture come out, but that's how it normally is. It's Sunday at Casper. I think that's where Mad Monday came from, because it was the day after the Sunday game. So,
some of the clubs wanted it Saturday, and I believe they tried to book the ground themselves for a Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know why they would want it on a Saturday. When you got the Seffield grand finals on the Saturday anyway, so this game will be the last game of of football in this whole area, from Cranbourne all the way down to Sorrento, out far and wide. It's the last game, so yeah, well, we'll just celebrate and getting the people there. And Sunday's great. Sunday is a great day.
You guys happy with the 7-day break? I mean, you have no issue about it being Sunday?
No, we should have a 5-day break. Better, but. No, I think we saw with YC round 1 when we played them. We were the last game of the weekend, and nobody turned up. It was everyone had been Good Friday, it'd been the Saturday. I was worried maybe people might be not grand finaled out, but footed out. I think obviously they're not going to sell as much grog on a Sunday because people are working Monday. I know the club, us down in Division 2 down there, when we play on Saturdays, we get a big crowd on Saturday night, huge crowd, party, party wraps up sometime Saturday night, Sunday morning.
I think you'll find Pines in it that they'll sell the grog out. I think there'll be 7,000 people there. There'll be probably 5,500 of them from Pines, and they'll drink the joint dry.
Well, I mean, this was the problem they had last Saturday. They ran out of beer on one side of the ground at Frankston Park, on the Brian Mace grandstand side of the ground, on the social club side where Chris Holcomb was there having a lovely time. He didn't run out of beer. And Gary Buckenara said they didn't run out of beer in their social club rooms, but on the other side of the ground, they actually ran out of beer, so hopefully they're a bit more prepared.
I don't think Paddy's worried about the beer getting sold, mate. I think he wants a cup.
Oh, well, later on he might be worried about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, who do you want to see represent your club in the GameFace Boxing Challenge? We know that these two gentlemen at the end of the table here, Tim Bongetti and Lee Paholke, different weights, but they're going to have a crack at each other. I don't know how they're going to last, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Have you started doing any work, Bongo, in the gym on it?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't really intend on doing too much, because that's the whole point of it, isn't it? Where football is going out and raising some money for a charity, and at the end of the day, whoever wins the cup on Sunday is going to be more happy than standing in a ring with a couple of gloves on, let's be honest.
What about you, Lee? Done any work on your boxing yet? Other than maybe last Sunday, 3/4 time?
Geez, I hope they're short rounds.
I think it'll be 3 minutes.
That's too long.
Because every fighter will get paid $900. One fighter will win $5,000 for their football club. To get involved, inbox GameFace on Facebook, and it is a No Regrets Boxing Challenge for November 2nd at the Cranbourne Racecourse. Stay here, guys. It's been a very interesting chat. It's been a bit of a feisty, fiery chat. More to talk about for the Division 1 Seniors Grand Final. Coming up next from the Frankston RSL, it is the Grand Final.
Websites, videos, Google marketing, SEO. What do you need for your business? Call the team at Chill. They really know their stuff.
White Merchant from UFirst Real Estate, selling real estate, born, bred and passionate.
This is the GameFace Footy Show Division 1 Grand Final edition. We're looking at the Seniors Grand Final. Lee Paholke and James Hallahan from Sorrento, the coach of Pines in Paddy Swain, and Tim Bongetti with us, Chris Holcomb as well. We've got some awards to get through, gentlemen, and I think a few of these boys, Chris, looking at the Division 1 Team of the Year, which you chose. It's a very, very good team. 6 changes to the MP NFL Team of the Year. You happy with it?
Yeah, some of those were, I won't say they were rubbish for the people who got in. It was rubbish for some of these people who missed out. Like that bloke on halfback, Flanky had one of the best years from a back I've seen for a long time with that one, so you can mention him.
Yep.
There was also a mistake here I've just been alerted to too. James was kind enough to let me know that he wasn't in the side, so Glenn's obviously made a mistake. So what I've done is, if by chance Mitch is in the side, just take a plaque, scrub out the M and chuck a J on there, and he'll be right.
So he should be in ahead of Mitch?
No, I just told you. There's a mistake made. Scrub out Mitch and put a J and he can take a plaque home. Mitch can still play as well.
Oh, okay.
You're right with that? Do you want me to write it down?
Well, he's not in the team then.
Hey?
He's not in the team.
No, he's not at this stage.
Right.
That's why he was running upset with me before.
What do you mean he's not at this stage? If he's not in now, he
Well,
won't
he was, but he obviously didn't get onto the study hole, mate. So that's what we're trying to say.
Oh, okay.
You two get a room, okay?
I sort of don't understand that, but anyway, we'll move on. Okay, let's get on with it. We thank Austin again from the Ray White Lang Warren for being involved in presenting the awards. We'll start with the goal kicking award. He's had an outstanding year. He's going to be a half-man to stop at the grand final for Sorrento on the weekend. Aaron Edwards, the former AFL player from Pines. Well done to Az. He's had a great year. He's not here tonight. Where is he working?
Yeah, working on his biceps.
Yeah, working on his biceps. Sean Downey from Rosebud was the best player. Well done to Sean. Had an outstanding year for the Buds. Constantly getting 5 or 6 votes. Good on you, Sean. You did a great job. And thoroughly deserved as we get into our Team of the Year. And I love the panel's view on this Team of the Year, whether you think it's any good, whether you think it's a a team that could be competitive. I reckon it's an excellent team. Chris has done a pretty good job. A couple of players should be there that aren't there. James Hallahan being one of those. Sorry, Chris. The back line, Nick Boswell, Pines. Please come up and get your award, which also includes a stubby holder and a beer from St Andrews Beach Brewery as well, one of our major sponsors. Chris Ongarello, YCW, Byron Barry, YCW, what a good back line that is. The half back line, and Chris has told me to make sure I mention him. He's been superb for Sorrento this year, and I'm sure that James and Lee would agree with that. James Marston of Sorrento, a great year, isn't he?
I swear to God, Dan, it's Nick Marston.
Nick Marston, is it?
He hasn't changed his name all year.
Oh, sorry, Alex.
You guys aren't full-time paid producers, are you?
I am. I'm not going well, am I? Thanks very much for that. Sorry, Nick Marston. Warwick Miller of Mornington and Brett O'Hanlon of Edith Vale Aspendale. It's a pretty good half-back line. The centre line, Sean Downey of Rosebud, Mitch Hallahan of Sorrento. He can share it with his brother, and also Miller of Mornington. The half-forward line, he had a great year, including 9 in one game, and actually won a game against YCW on his own. Trent Dennis Lane from Bond Beach. Geordie Moncrief from Mount Eliza. Luke Tapscott, who's not here, from Sorrento. The forward line, Lee Paholke from Sorrento. You can go and get your stubby holder if you want, Lee. Aaron Edwards from Pines and Sam Fox from Frankston Bombers. The ruck, he's not here either. Bo Hendry from Pines, Sam Monaghan from Edith Vale Aspendale, and Kyle Hutchison from YCW. And the interchange bench, Matty Meehan from Edith Vale Aspendale, Paul Scanlon from Pines, Fletcher Huswaite from Rosebud, and Dale Sutton from Frankston Bombers. The captain is Mitch Hallahan from Sorrento, and the coach is Paddy Swain from the Pines. Well done, Paddy. Well done to our team of the year in First Division. And we've got a couple of raffles as well, and then we'll get one more answer from each of our panel members to complete the footy show for 2018 as we get ready for the big day. Now, if it's wet on Saturday, will it suit you, or won't it suit you, James? Lee?
Red. I don't know. I don't think are you going to do the raffle or are we doing it?
No, I'll get you to answer the question first.
Is it Red D33?
Red
D33. That's us.
That's you.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Red drop?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Comedy.
Nice.
It's taken you all year.
Is it? Yeah, it's us.
Oh, nice.
Well done, boys. You can have that on Sunday night. So, will the wet suit you?
Will what suit us?
Will the wet suit you?
Will the red suit us? Yeah, sure. I think we've got Mitch O'Hanlon and Scanlon going head to head. Scanlon on the bench in that team?
Yep.
Red D16.
Red D16.
I love the controversy this team of the year creates. It's fantastic.
When you can answer it, I might let you answer the question.
Right, we're getting there. Another raffle, coach, or are we on?
Red D16. Thanks. Well done.
Yes.
Congratulations. So what's the question? Well, the question was, will the wet suit you?
Yes.
And you're confident you can play well on the wet and win the game?
Yes.
One word answer, thanks for that. What about you, Paddy? Do you want it wet or dry?
The wetter the better, Fitch, isn't it?
That's a quite flavour.
No, yeah, we do like the wet. We played Rosebud down at Rosebud in that shocking day, and I think that I remember that day we were the highest score for the round, and we were also the lowest against. So we don't mind the wet.
Tim, what's it mean to you playing premiership with this team, considering you've come from the other side of Melbourne to come down and play? Great commitment. You've been a wonderful servant for the club for the last few years, but to culminate it with a flag, how important is it?
That's why we play footy, isn't it, Dan? To win premierships, I guess. So when I came to the club, I heard a lot about the Pines and from people outside of the Pines, obviously, the way that the people at the Pines are perceived. Coming from Greensborough, the other side of town, it didn't really defer me coming down because I hadn't won a flag for 24 years, and that was my biggest feeling to come to the club, that I wanted to get a club that hadn't been there, to jump on board with Aaron, Chewy, the Hendry brothers and Potsy, and try and get this flag for the club there. You've got so many people putting in, so many people doing what they do around the club, sponsors and that where the club's been down the bottom for a long period of time. I believe that a flag for this club will not just be a great moment for the 22 of us and the coaches, it'll be massive for the community, not just the footy club. I think it'll be massive for the community and the people that live around the area.
And James, your team's won a lot of flags in recent times. Of course, different division. You're in first division, getting a chance to prove yourself against the very best teams. What would it mean to you as the captain of the team to hoist the Premiership Cup on Sunday?
Yeah, I'd like to probably echo Bongo's statement. Premierships are sort of one, I think, for the supporters, the people who put in, the volunteers, everything like that, who do everything for no reward. And their reward is, I guess, to see the 22 blokes run out, take the field, and to see them on the last day in September, win or lose, is what makes their year. To come up from Division 2, we were always told we're not good enough. Every time we win a flag, you're not good enough to compete with these sides. And after round 1, we probably almost thought that. But here we are, last day in September, we get a chance to prove ourselves.
Well, we wish you all the best. It's going to be a great grand final, as everyone's been saying. It's going to be very, very tight. Lee Paholke always likes to have the last word, so I'll let you have the last word. Go hardest.
I've just been told to take over because it's falling apart. So we've got Black 24, Black D24. There we go. One for the Pines. And we've got Red D29.
That'd be close to your time, wouldn't it?
I think we're already 30s. Other Pines. 8th Paddy. We had a chance to have Guy and I line up first bounce.
Hang on, what was that? What was the guy?
We had a chance to have Guy and I line up on each other 180 square first bounce.
Nah. We put Guy to the best forward.
I'd like to thank Mark Dunsworth, the Vice President of the Pines Footy Club, for throwing a couple of hand grenades in there too. I'd like to thank everyone for their involvement here tonight, all our sponsors, the Frankston RSL for looking after us, Liam and also Reese and Nick and Coach for all their hard work. It's been absolutely fantastic. And obviously our major sponsors too, Glenn, our boss, for looking after us as well and making it possible. It's been wonderful being part of GameFace this year, and may we have more of it next year. Chris Holcomb, thank you to you, and we look forward to footy on the weekend, mate.
Well, who do you think's going to win?
I'm going for Pines. Sorry boys, I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be an absolute ripper, but I couldn't tip my hat. What about you?
I reckon it's going to be a belter. I love it.
Who's going to win?
I'll go Sorrento.
Why?
Because all the Pines people think I always did against them. So if I pick you this week and you get done,
well,
you're going to blame me.
He did say, Paddy,
if I keep tipping against you, maybe you might get up.
He did say, Paddy, didn't he? He didn't think you'd make the finals when we had the footy show down at the Pines about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and since then he hasn't put a foot wrong. And he's been very red-faced.
It's always hard to predict what's going to happen, isn't it? Chris?
I said at the final at the time, Bombers were going to beat them, and they weren't going to win a game in this spot.
I still thought they were going pretty well.
And
they just lost some idiots.
Turned into Supermen and started jumping around and tackling like monsters, and this is the result you've seen. They put themselves in a position to win a premiership, and it's been fantastic to watch. Loving it.
It's going to be a great grand final. We can't wait. And of course, GameFace will be at the 7th grand final on Saturday, getting interviews and reaction, all 3 grand finals. And we'll also be there, of course, for the MP-NFL Grand Final on Sunday. Let's take some questions from the crowd before we finish tonight. Everyone's up and about. We have a gentleman here from the Pines crowd who's got a question for you, Chris. You're going to be under the pump. Keep it nice.
I asked, how did you put Paul Scanlon on the bench?
I love Chewy, and I actually gave him a chance in Interleague when everyone thought he was a bit too old. I put him on the bench because Sam Monahan's form at stages this year was unbelievable. Kyle Hutchison dragged his side to a final series when they had no right to be there. And I probably think Mitch Allahan's the best on-baller in the comp. And I needed to put Chewy in the side, I couldn't leave him out. So they're the 3 reasons why Chewy sort of went to the sidelines. And I don't think he's a forward pocket who applies pressure, so that's where he went. But I hope that answers it without any...
He's a handy player to come off the bench anyway, Chris.
Thank you. That's a good question.
Great question. Any other questions?
No. Oh, that's great.
Oh, we got off lightly. Well done again, everyone. Good luck on the weekend to Pines and also to Sorrento. And can I again thank Austin and Tanya Phillips from Ray White Lang Warren for being here, one of our major sponsors. Thanks very much for all their hard work tonight. Good luck to all the teams in the grand finals on the weekend. Have a great night, everyone.